everyone, my name is Helga and you're on my anime channel. Thrilling fight scenes of giant robots, breathtaking fantasy worlds, and tons of fan service. This is how a lot of people imagine Japanese animation, and I like some of these aspects too. However, what I originally fell in love with was the unhurried narration and melancholic atmosphere of slice of life shows. And today I would like to share my top 5 anime of this genre which I recommend you check out. So without further ado, let's go. I will try not to include the titles, the plots of which revolve mostly around romantic relationships, because I already have a separate video about them. So here we'll concentrate on more or less pure slice of life series. And number 5 on my list is the show called Usagi Drop. It's about a 30-year-old bachelor, Daikichi, who voluntarily becomes a guardian of his 6-year-old relative, who gets rejected by their other family members. It's a sweet story about parenthood and becoming a family. So, if you are tired of countless love stories and want to experience anime that shows other aspects of life, this is the perfect choice. My second pick is K-On!, which is a slice of life anime in disguise. Yes, there is quite a lot of music, but the plot mostly revolves around the everyday life of high school girls. It has the unhurried narration, which is typical for the genre, as well as some quiet scenes which make you value simple moments in life. And I don't want to spoil the ending for you, if of course there is something to spoil in slice of life shows. But the last episode of the series also shows that its main focus was never on music, but more on making the routine of everyday life brighter. The third title on my list is called My Roommate is a Cat. It's about an introverted young novel writer who adopts a kitten and learns what it means to take care of a pet and to unconditionally love something. And of course, along the way, he realizes that he didn't save the cat, but the cat saved him. It sounds cheesy, but the delivery of the show is actually quite interesting. It also portrays a lot of typical situations that cat owners and pet owners in general often find themselves in. So if you have a furry companion, you'll definitely find it relatable. The next one on my list is Natsume's Book of Friends. This show, unlike the previous ones, has some fantastical elements. It talks about a guy who can see yokai, which are Japanese mystical creatures. So it will be a really good transition for you if you are used to watching action or fantasy shows and want to get into the slice of life genre. It even has some fight scenes, but mostly we follow the ordinary life of this teenage boy and his friends. It also has a strong theme of family relationships and the bonds that people can create with each other even if they're not related. And of course, it has one of my most favorite anime characters ever, which is Madara or Nyanko Sensei. He ordinarily takes on the shape of a maneki neko, a common Japanese figurine that is believed to bring good luck, but ordinary people see him as a usual cat. However, when he or someone close to him is in danger, he takes his real form, which is Okami, a Japanese wolf. And I have actually just gotten a tattoo of Madara in his wolf form. So you can say that I really like this anime and this character specifically, because he seems to be just a happy-go-lucky creature that likes drinking alcohol and eating tasty food, but when the main character needs his help, he is always ready to protect him. And before I name my number 1 on this list, I would like to talk about the anime titles of the slice of life genre which you can check out this anime season. I would like it to become a usual thing in my genre ratings. And today I'm going to be talking about 2 shows, the first of which is called Super Cub. It's about a girl who believes that she doesn't have anything in life until she buys a motorcycle, and this is when her life starts brightening up. I've read that later in the show there's gonna be a sports genre involved too, but now it seems like your typical melancholic slow burn slice of life anime, which includes all the things that I fell in love with anime for, so I can recommend you check it out. And the second show that I want to recommend you watch this season is called Those Snow White Notes. It tells a story about a shamisen player. A shamisen is a traditional Japanese string instrument. Maybe later in the show there's gonna be romance involved, but now it's just the pure slice of life show with a music theme. And finally, number one on my list is the show called March Comes In Like a Lion. It's about a teenage boy who lost his parents at a young age and now tries to fulfill his life by becoming a champion in shogi, which is a Japanese sport similar to chess. He meets a young woman who has to take care of her younger sisters because of an early death of their mother. They form an unlikely bond and he starts spending a lot of time with their family. This title has some competitive sport elements that dilute the quiet pace of the show. However, it's a classical example of a slice of life anime that is not so much about the events that happen, but more about the emotions that the characters are experiencing. It also gives you this feeling of deja vu, as if something like that has happened to you too. I also liked how the author paid attention to the side characters and their development. My favorite one is Smith. He has very little screen time, but it's enough to relate to and feel for him. And yes, the source material for this anime is created by the author of my most favorite anime title of all time, which is Honey and Clover. And they even invited the same singer to record some openings for March Comes In Like a Lion, who performed the first season's opening of Honey and Clover anime adaptation. But as I mentioned today, we're not talking about romance, and in Honey and Clover, it's one of the main themes. That was it for my top 5 favorite slice of life shows. Share your favorites in the comments below. I would really like to find out some new shows in this genre because these are not usually talked a lot about on social media, and I think it's important to spread the word about them. Also, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet, and click the little bell icon to get all the notifications about when I post new videos. Hope to see you soon. Bye!